So this is our first podcast, Ryan.
Yeah, very good. Welcome to the 80th Fergus podcast. I am Ryan Joyce.
And I'm Barbie Boy.
And today we are going to be talking about our experiences at the Fergus Scottish Festival and Highland Games. Number 80.
Good. It was so good, wasn't it?
Tartan up. It was good.
Tartan up.
It was like, what was it, 4,000 degrees?
No, I think it was about 4,007.
Yep.
That was during the day. At nighttime, it went down about 10 degrees, but it was stinking hot. But the fact that we did so many numbers, and don't quote me, but I think we did somewhere around 28 or 29,000, which is really seriously good numbers, especially given the temperatures. Yeah. It was celebratory as can
And if
be.
you think about it, that is doubling the population of Fergus.
I didn't think about it, but yes, that's quite funny. And you know, in their field, Matthew was telling me that field holds, I think he said roughly 9,800 people, and that field was full a couple of times.
So let's just start right at the beginning. With the Friday night is always like the tattoo. The tattoo.
No, you have to say the tattoo.
The tattoo.
Yeah,
that's where my voice inflection went up on that one, just for this. And there is correction involved. Tattoo. And the tattoo is basically a ceremony on the Friday night. And gosh, the weather was really awesome.
Spectacular.
And it's a celebration of the four pillars, which is we're testing our knowledge here, Barb.
It's heritage,
clans and heritage,
dance.
Pipes and drums, heavy events, and dance.
Right.
Oh, there we go. Look at us.
Do you have notes in front of you, like for real? Or did you just remember?
It's almost like we have done 5 or 6,
7,000 of
the Highland Games, and so Friday is basically a culmination of all of that, demonstrating all of those in a very formal presentation, and it's beautiful. It's always at the sunset and the
flames and the lighting of the hearth and just everything, and the story behind that. I did not know the story of that until like a year or two ago, when it was explained that now correct me if I'm wrong, but when an outsider came to town and moved in or settled into town, all the locals would come around and bring something from their hearth as a way to welcome the newcomer. You know, that's what we are. Look at us. We're the hearth.
Look at you with your symbolism. Welcome. I hope you, the listener, brought some coal for your fireplace to this incredible podcast. And that's so true. And so they would, to end the tattoo, they would have I
was just taking a sip of my coffee for the listeners that heard me spit. So
they have a roll call of all the names, and each one would contribute a little bit of their flame to the hearth. What a magical evening, of course.
And the light.
And also, one of the highlights at the tattoo is they have, of course, as we talked about, representation of the four pillars, but they've got a lot of music that happens. And this year, we got a chance to see a couple really great highlights. Of course, some familiars, but Tony McManus was a guest.
He was great. You know, did you see? So the week before the tattoo, or the week before the Highland Games, I was in the park at Templin Gardens. Huge kudos to the Twilight at Templin that Kim Jefferson and the BIA do out there in Fergus. But David Leask, oh my gosh, I was like, I love that man.
I am a big fan. If you haven't heard the Tartan Kiss,
oh my gosh, the Fergus Kiss, isn't it called?
I believe.
I think it's called the Fergus Kiss.
Check the description of the podcast episode for details. But when for a little back interest for those viewing, obviously, COVID was an interesting change of pace for everyone, and during that time was supposed to be the 75th anniversary of the Fergus Scottish Festival and Highland Games, and I was asked to help film all of their stuff and things, and so David at that point had debuted his Tartan Kiss. I believe it's called Tartan Kiss. And so you can see the music video for that and watch that online on the Fergus Scottish Festival and Highland Games YouTube channel. It is an amazing song.
Really
so that's the tattoo. The tattoo.
It is. It's gorgeous. It's actually called the Tartan Kiss of Fergus.
There it is.
Just looked it up. So we're both right. Tartan Kiss and Fergus Kiss. See?
And so there was also, for the fans of Outlander, there was a huge star on grounds.
Oh my gosh, how much do we love him? It was just Charles. It's just, he's from the local area. I mean, he played sports right here in our town. So yeah, it's great. Love him.
Yeah, and we actually sat down with him. Here's a little excerpt of that interview that gives a little tease about his experiences at the Sportsplex.
Amazing. I've done a couple Outlander events now in different parts of the world, but it's really special to come back to basically my hometown.
Yeah.
I used to, in this very Sportsplex, I used to do cross country meets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
All throughout school and high school, so this feels very familiar to me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been really beautiful to be back.
I mean, he was amazing. But we also talked to a guy named Steven Caldwell. So he is a TSN sportscaster. Used to play football or soccer, depending on which lane you speak from, in Scotland, and then came to play at the Toronto FC. So that's he was a pretty cool conversation too. He seemed to really jive on this whole our vibe.
I think the biggest thing for me is we think we get winter in Scotland. This is winter. Canada's got winter, I promise you. The cold really hits you in that first winter. There's a dampness in Scotland, but there's a real cold, and you got to be dressed right in Canada. So that's one of the biggest differences. I think the people are actually quite similar. Lovely people, very welcoming. I've loved every minute of living in Canada and in the Toronto area. I'm like I said, we're not Canadians. We still feel Scottish, my family and I, but we're delighted to be living in this magnificent country.
And that was a kind of a new ceremony in the tattoo as they had him kick off a soccer ball through two cabers. And the cabers, of course, for those that might not be as esoteric as us, having seen many Fergus Scottish, that's the big wooden poles that they toss in the air.
Gosh. And Elizabeth tossed it great. Wait, Elizabeth tossed the caber really well too.
Yes. And I should also mention that one of the highlights of the new ceremonies of the Fergus Scottish Festival has been the memorial caber. And this is a flaming caber, a caber they light on fire. And then Jamie Trask is the gentleman that has tossed that the last couple of years. It's just a really significant moment to kick off the Scottish Festival on Highland Games. But yes, we did talk to Steven Caldwell, and of course, none of these activities that we've been talking about over the 3-day course of the weekend happen with just like one or two organizers. There's a whole ton of people that are involved, including the executive director of the Fergus Scottish Festival and Highland Games, the one and only Elizabeth Bender, who is absolutely a doll. We chatted with her, and here's what she said about the volunteers.
This is my favorite topic. It is something that you will never, ever believe. So there are 2 staff for the Fergus Scottish Festival and upwards of 400 volunteers.
It's amazing. Applauding to each and every one of you.
Yes, we truly could not do it without them. And what is the most amazing is using just a couple of examples. Things are going great with setup, then all of a sudden things are behind with setup, and people are jumping in everywhere. And it's so heartwarming, the passion, the energy. No one says no. Everyone says, what can I do?
And you know what? Everyone tries, Liz. I know I made a comment earlier about something, but everybody tries. And I think at the end of the day, I think the most important thing, regardless of those 4 pillars and regardless of the dollars that it generates and regardless of the amount of people that come from outside of our home, it is a home-focused event. It's rooted in home people.
Yes, it really is.
I get emotional.
I call it the festival bug. So people will volunteer for the first time and you see it happen where they can't believe how much we work together as a team, but also how much we celebrate as a team. So we're working hard, we're sweaty, we're dirty, but we're having so much fun at the same time.
Love it.
And that means if you are interested in being part of something like this and making a difference in the community, how can people get involved?
Yeah, so you can go onto our website, fergusscottishfestival.com, and click on our volunteer application, and we will find you something wonderful to do.
400, Barb.
Yeah,
that's a lot of volunteers.
People. Yeah, it's a lot of people. And everybody there loves it. It's not like anybody feels obligated in any kind of way. We all volunteer, and I know we do. We all volunteer because we want to support this great event.
Yeah, 80 years is a long
huge
time.
Win.
The first one, of course, the Victoria Park right downtown, and it's gotten so big. I remember as a kid. I'm going to
say, you remember the first one? No,
I would know. Yeah. 1946. I wasn't quite born yet. I remember the first Scottish festival I ever attended was the one where Kim Campbell,
that's
Prime Minister of Canada, arrived for that one, and that was a really big win. And so anyways, that's as many, it takes a little flashback, as many of the Scottish festivals that I have seen.
Okay, but none of them would have had the infamous Bay City Rollers.
Yeah.
Can we take, I know we don't have much time left because we really do want to honor the short podcast format, but can we take a minute? So for those of you that weren't there or didn't speak to Ryan or I since, we had an interview with Bay City Rollers, and towards the end, before we could say goodbye, we literally got swarmed. Well, we didn't. The Bay City Rollers got swarmed just as we're ready to say goodbye. Whoosh, tons of very excited fans all wanted to be near them and talk to them.
Keep on rolling.
And that dropped today, I believe, on Spotify, correct?
That's like the new single's called Rollers Forever. We've even got a Rollers musical. We'll bring it here next year. Rollers Forever the musical. So.
Do you guys really think they should be back another time?
Yeah!
All right.
Take away our passports. Let's get the beer coming and we'll stay. Yes.
Ryan.
We've taken a lot of the time. We know you got a show to do, but I want to know what can an audience expect to see tonight?
High energy, happy high energy. We'll have to sing along, clap along. Yeah. The sort of, we're talking about these songs. These songs are timeless.
Yeah.
You know.
And I'm guessing we have to sit around and wait for Saturday because it's like what everyone's waiting for.
Well, we don't know. Yeah. We don't know that one. We might do a jazz version of it tonight.
Barb, they were there to see us. Those fans were
maybe if our podcast takes off, that'll happen one day, but I think we got to be a lot more humble.
Not likely, but I don't play guitar, but it was a real kickoff.
Yeah, that's why they're not swerving us.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great. And
to see the crowd that assembled for that concert was incredible. I mean, there was 10,000 plus people packed into that Sportsplex, and it was a huge night of just music and celebration. What a way to sort of culminate the experience. Of course, it wasn't the only experience. There was experiences throughout the weekend, including the competition, which is a big thing. And we should mention the unturnable cable was turned.
Yeah. Dancers danced, pipers piped, and people ate. Haggis was a star as always.
Yep.
And Heat. Again, Heat played a really big part of our weekend.
It was a fantastic 80th celebration. I don't know how they could have done any better for 80 years. So that's kind of our personal one-on-one take on this year's 80th celebration. The biggest thing that you can do for us is to subscribe, hit that subscribe button wherever you get your favorite podcasts and your podcasts, and tell a friend about them.
And our next podcast, just so you know, we're going to talk about things that are coming. So one of the things we do, we'll talk about things that have happened, but we're also going to talk about things that are coming. So we give you reason to listen to us so that we can keep you informed and updated.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Laura Fergus Podcast. I'm Ryan Joyce.
And I'm Barbie Boy. Have a great day.